What's happening with GIS application?
I'm not sure I have a good handle on.
I'm not really close to that,
Yeah.
but I'd say really the biggest sort of thematic shift is that historically GIS used to be pretty expensive and pretty hard to use, and you saw either commercial players like Esri or a couple of big open source suites dominate the landscape, but generally these things had a fairly intense learning curve.
Mhm.
And what's happened in the last few years is that basically Google Maps
Mhm.
has made has knocked the barriers to entry really low on this.
Mhm.
So you see geographic data mashups of various kinds really being produced just, absolutely casually by school kids, in term papers, in presentations. So we've really kind of established a good, viable, low-end GIS marketplace. And there are a few things that are really fascinating, like, the Google Maps has these various overlay things. So you've got people like Bernie Fischer, who's put his reconstructions of ancient Rome in there as a layer so that you can actually, model, if you're doing classical studies, you can mash stuff against a reconstruction of, ancient Rome. I think you're going to see more and more stuff of that nature. In terms of kind of preserving GIS stuff, most of that is being handled by the major geospatial agencies, USGS, the various imagery agencies for satellite stuff. My sense is that people are being very casual with a lot of these things that are being done on Google Maps on the basis that they're generally sort of mashups of extant data and therefore could be reconstructed by, sort of remashing the data.
I know our geology department has done a lot with GIS in terms of some of the Charleston, locations and the coast, and I don't even know what all they've done, but I know that there's concern that this isn't preserved.
Yeah, there is still a marketplace, a very vigorous one for kind of high-end GIS. The oil companies are really into it, for example, and this has become a very big issue now with the fracking technology for recovering oil and gas. That's still there, and it's still a problem, especially with a lot of this data in private hands. Although it's kept as long as it has value, it turns out, for example, there's a whole industry like reselling 3D seismic models and data sets around oil, or potentially oil-bearing areas and things like that.